What if there was a book, long hidden and overlooked for centuries, that claimed to reveal untold details about the lives of the Bible's greatest heroes? A text that unveils the struggles, battles, and divine encounters of figures like Abraham, Moses, and Joseph, painting a richer picture of their stories. This mysterious text, known as the Book of Jasher, holds a unique place in biblical history. Mentioned within the Bible itself, its contents remain elusive to many today. This isn't just a retelling, it's a deeper dive into the lives of those chosen by God. Imagine Abraham confronting idolatry, standing firm in his belief in one God despite immense pressure. Or Moses, not only as a leader, but a warrior, battling Pharaoh's forces and defying Egyptian sorcerers. But here's the question. Why isn't the Book of Jasher part of the Bible? Is it too revealing, too controversial, or perhaps too powerful? Does it challenge our perceptions by exposing the flaws, fears, and humanity of biblical figures? Or does it simply offer a new lens through which to view the same divine stories? Today, we delve into the secrets of the Book of Jasher, its lost knowledge, untold stories, and spiritual lessons. Join us as we uncover this hidden treasure and explore its impact on faith, courage, and destiny. The Book of Jasher, also known as the Book of the Upright or the Book of the Just, holds an enigmatic place in the history of biblical literature. Although mentioned in the Bible, its origins are shrouded in mystery, leaving scholars and believers to wonder about its true purpose. Referenced in Joshua 10:13, it recounts the miraculous event when the sun stood still, giving Israel victory over the Amorites. In 2 Samuel 1:18, David's lament for Saul and Jonathan draws from its poetic tradition, emphasizing the depth of Israel's loss. Yet beyond these mentions, little is known about its full content. Was it a historical chronicle, a collection of heroic tales, or perhaps a poetic archive celebrating Israel's greatest figures? Despite its absence from the canonical Bible, the Book of Jasher became a source of fascination for Jewish and Christian scholars alike. Some believe it began as a collection of oral traditions, preserving the values, history, and identity of Israel. These stories were not merely entertainment, they were foundational for teaching future generations about God's law, courage, and obedience. Over time, however, the book was marginalized and nearly lost. Invasions, changing priorities, and historical shifts led to its obscurity. While early church leaders acknowledged its existence, the Book of Jasher was excluded from the formalized scriptural canon. By the time the biblical canon was finalized in 397 AD at the Council of Carthage, Jasher had faded into obscurity, its role relegated to a relic of apocryphal literature. But the mystery deepened in the 17th century when a manuscript claiming to be the authentic Book of Jasher surfaced in Venice. Though scholars debated its authenticity, it reignited interest in this lost text. By 1840, an English translation emerged, sparking new discussions about its content and significance. The rediscovered Book of Jasher offers an expanded view of biblical events, bringing new layers of detail and emotion to familiar stories. It paints vivid portraits of the Bible's great heroes, delving into their struggles, choices, and spiritual growth. For example, the story of Abraham takes on greater depth in Jasher. We see him as a young man, born into a world dominated by idolatry, challenging his father Terah, an idol maker serving King Nimrod. Jasher recounts Abraham's courage as he destroys his father's idols, declaring, "Why do you worship lifeless figures that neither see nor hear? Worship instead the God who created the heavens and the earth." This act of defiance set Abraham apart, marking him as a man destined to stand for truth at all costs. But it wasn't without consequence. When King Nimrod learned of Abraham's rebellion, he sought to have him killed. Jasher describes how Terah hid his son, ensuring his survival. This account portrays Abraham as a fearless challenger of societal norms, laying the foundation for his unwavering faith and the pivotal role he would play in God's plan. The Book of Jasher also enriches the story of Joseph, adding depth to his journey from beloved son to ruler of Egypt. It explores the complex emotions behind his brother's betrayal: jealousy, fear, and regret. Jasher highlights their internal struggles, showing that their decision to sell Joseph into slavery was weighed with hesitation. Once in Egypt, Joseph's trials are detailed with intensity. Jasher captures his resilience in captivity, his refusal to betray God, and his steadfast faith despite immense adversity. "I will not sin against my God," Joseph declares, "for his eyes are upon me even in the darkness." His story becomes a testament to the power of integrity, forgiveness, and the redemptive plan of God. Moses, too, is given a richer narrative in Jasher. Raised in Pharaoh's court, he emerges as a skilled warrior and a leader of extraordinary courage. Jasher recounts his military exploits and his growing awareness of his Hebrew heritage. When Moses discovers the suffering of his people, he faces an inner conflict that ultimately leads him to renounce the privileges of Egyptian royalty. In Jasher, Moses doesn't merely request freedom for the Israelites. He engages in both spiritual and physical battles against Pharaoh and his sorcerers. Jasher describes how Moses, empowered by God, confronts these forces with miracles that reveal divine authority. This portrayal of Moses as both prophet and warrior underscores the courage required to stand against oppression and lead God's people to freedom. Through its expanded stories, the Book of Jasher brings forward powerful spiritual themes that resonate deeply. One of the central themes is faith that requires action, courage, and trust in God, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Abraham's defiance of idolatry, Joseph's resilience during betrayal and imprisonment, and Moses' boldness against Pharaoh all exemplify this. Jasher shows that faith is not a passive belief, but an active commitment to stand firm with God, regardless of the challenges. Another recurring theme is divine justice. Jasher emphasizes that God's justice, though sometimes delayed, is inevitable. Abraham is delivered from Nimrod's wrath, Joseph is elevated after years of suffering, and Moses witnesses Pharaoh's downfall. These stories remind us that God's plans are not hindered by human power or timelines. Jasher also highlights transformation, the profound growth that God's chosen figures undergo through their trials. Abraham, Joseph, and Moses each begin as ordinary individuals and through their struggles become key instruments in God's divine plan. Their journeys teach us that greatness in God's kingdom is often born from suffering, perseverance, and unwavering trust in His greater purpose. The text is rich with stories of angelic intervention, revealing how God's messengers play an active role in guiding, protecting, and empowering His people. For instance, Jasher recounts an angel comforting Abraham as he prepares to confront Nimrod, strengthening his resolve. Angels also appear during pivotal moments in the lives of Jacob, Moses, and Joshua, acting as both protectors and divine agents who carry out God's will. One particularly striking account is the binding of Isaac. Jasher offers a more detailed depiction of Abraham's anguish and Isaac's courage as they face this ultimate test of faith. Just as Abraham raises the knife, an angel intervenes, stopping the act and affirming Abraham's fear of God. This moment underscores God's mercy and His redemptive purpose, showing that even the most difficult trials have a divine meaning. The Book of Jasher also expands on the story of Jacob's ladder, portraying it as a profound connection between heaven and earth. Angels ascending and descending symbolize God's covenant and his ongoing involvement in human affairs. This vision reassures Jacob and the readers that God's presence is constant, even during times of exile and uncertainty. The Book of Jasher also delves deeply into prophecy, offering insights that shape the destinies of individuals and entire nations. Through blessings, dreams, and visions, the book portrays God's plans unfolding across generations. One such moment occurs when Abraham blesses Isaac, declaring that his lineage will become a multitude of nations and a blessing to the entire earth. This prophecy reinforces God's covenant with Abraham, establishing a foundation for Israel's role in history. Similarly, Jasher explores the complex blessings of Jacob over his sons, contrasting the righteous path of Jacob's chosen descendants with the adversarial role of Esau's lineage, setting the stage for future struggles between Israel and Edom. Joseph's dreams, vivid and unsettling, are portrayed with greater depth in Jasher. These dreams not only predict Joseph's rise to power, but also hint at God's larger plan to preserve Israel during the famine. Despite his brother's disbelief, Joseph's unwavering faith in these visions drives him to endure betrayal and hardship, knowing his life serves a divine purpose. Moses also experiences profound prophecy while still in Pharaoh's court. Jasher recounts how he foresees the suffering and eventual liberation of the Israelites, a vision that strengthens his resolve to align with God's people. This glimpse into the future burdens Moses with the weight of leadership, but it also solidifies his mission to confront Pharaoh and lead his people to freedom. Beyond individual prophecies, Jasher introduces apocalyptic themes, framing Israel's struggles within a cosmic conflict. The enmity between Jacob and Esau, for example, is presented as more than a familial dispute. It symbolizes the eternal struggle between good and evil. These narratives echo later prophetic texts, such as Daniel and Revelation, portraying Israel's trials as part of a broader spiritual battle. Through these prophetic and apocalyptic elements, Jasher reminds readers that the journey of faith is part of a much larger divine plan. It calls believers to trust in God's promises, even when faced with overwhelming challenges, and to view their trials within the context of a greater spiritual purpose. The Book of Jasher not only recounts extraordinary events, but also emphasizes timeless virtues and moral teachings that resonate across generations. One of its central themes is integrity, a steadfast commitment to righteousness even under pressure. Abraham's refusal to worship idols, despite the threat of death, exemplifies this virtue. His declaration, "I will serve only the one true God," sets a standard for unwavering faith. Similarly, Joseph's refusal to sin, even when imprisoned and betrayed, underscores that integrity is not dictated by circumstances, but by a devotion to God's principles. Jasher also highlights humility as the cornerstone of true greatness. Moses, despite his strength and leadership, is portrayed as reluctant and deeply humble. When called by God, Moses questions his worthiness, but his humility becomes his greatest strength, allowing God to work through him. As Jasher recounts, God reassures him, "Fear not, for it is not by your strength, but by my power that Israel shall be redeemed." This humility contrasts sharply with Pharaoh's arrogance, emphasizing that true leadership is rooted in service, not power. The book also elevates compassion and justice as essential qualities of godly leaders. Abraham's generosity to strangers and Joseph's fairness as a ruler illustrate this beautifully. Jasher portrays Abraham as a man whose heart was open to all, offering food and shelter to travelers as an expression of God's love. Joseph's governance during Egypt's famine exemplifies justice, ensuring that all, regardless of origin, were cared for. These stories teach that compassion is not just a personal virtue, but a societal obligation that reflects God's character. Another vital theme is resilience, the ability to endure hardship while maintaining faith. Joseph's journey from betrayal to redemption and Moses' perseverance through rebellion and doubt are powerful examples. Jasher highlights that resilience is born from a deep trust in God's purpose, reminding readers that trials are opportunities for spiritual growth and a deeper reliance on divine strength. Finally, Jasher underscores the importance of moral accountability. Figures like Nimrod and Esau illustrate the destructive consequences of pride and disobedience. Nimrod's arrogance in defying God leads to his downfall, while Esau's impulsive decisions have lasting repercussions for his descendants. These stories serve as warnings, reminding readers that every choice carries weight, and that living in alignment with God's commandments brings lasting blessings. Through its heroes' lives, the Book of Jasher challenges readers to reflect on their own journeys of faith. It calls us to live with integrity, humility, compassion, and resilience while remaining accountable to God's standards. The Book of Jasher is more than a historical relic. It's a guide to living a life of faith, courage, and devotion. Through its expanded stories of Abraham, Joseph, Moses, and other biblical heroes, it offers timeless lessons that challenge and inspire. This ancient text reminds us that faith requires action. Abraham stood against idolatry, Joseph clung to integrity in the face of betrayal, and Moses led with humility, trusting God's strength over his own. Their lives teach that trust in God often demands sacrifice, perseverance, and unwavering commitment. The Book of Jasher also illuminates the power of divine justice. It assures us that while God's timing may not align with our own, his plans are always just and his promises unfailing. Whether through the vindication of Joseph, the deliverance of the Israelites, or the downfall of prideful leaders, Jasher consistently shows that God's hand is at work, shaping history for his purpose. Moreover, the text underscores the importance of virtues such as compassion, humility, and moral accountability. It calls us to care for others, walk humbly, and make choices that align with God's commands. Through its narratives, Jasher emphasizes that living a righteous life not only brings personal peace, but also reflects God's love and justice to the world. As we explore the Book of Jasher, we are reminded that the journey of faith is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. The struggles and victories of its heroes mirror the challenges we face, offering hope and encouragement for our own lives. What lessons can we draw from these stories? Are there places in our lives where we're called to act with greater integrity, humility, or compassion? How can we trust God more deeply in times of uncertainty or trial? These are the questions the Book of Jasher invites us to ponder. By reflecting on its teachings, we can find strength to face our own battles, courage to pursue God's purpose, and faith to trust in his ultimate plan. If you enjoyed exploring the mysteries of the Book of Jasher, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories and insights into ancient texts. Your support helps us uncover even more hidden wisdom. Thank you for watching.